Boys and girls, today I'm going to be doing a lesson with you called Simplify First. This is a strategy lesson. So we use simplifying first when we're multiplying or dividing fractions when we get to the multiply stage. Okay, so I do have a whole bunch of notes for you right here in this blue box today that I have, there's blue around it. So again, I'm going to try to go through each step with you. Remember, you can stop the video at any point when I'm going too fast, and you can review any of these steps or write them in your math journals. All right, so let's talk about simplifying first. Now, when I'm simplifying first, I usually have a multiplication problem. So let me put one up here for you. Let's say that we have 3/4 and we're going to multiply. I'm going to use the dot, boys and girls. We're going to multiply 3/4, and let's say we're going to multiply it by 2/9. Now, we could just multiply across and get our answer, then we would have to simplify after we're done to get our answer. But we're going to work on this strategy today called simplifying first. Okay, so read step number 1 for me here. It says, look at the numbers that are diagonal from each other. So we're going to take a numerator and a denominator from the other fraction. And I'm going to ask, can I divide these numbers by the same number? Okay, so let's take a look before we go on. Change my color here. I'm going to take a numerator on this side. Let me circle it so you know what I'm talking about. And then diagonally, I have a 9. We're going to go diagonal. Now, I want to look. Can I simplify? Is there any number that I can divide both 3 and 9 by that will simplify these down? Okay, so if the answer is yes, then we're going to go on to step number 2. Now, the greatest common factor between, or the GCF, we're back to that GCF again, between 3 and 9 is 3. 3 goes into 9 evenly. So I'm going to divide, I'm just going to cross out this 3. I'm going to cross out the 9 because I'm going to change them. I'm going to divide both of these by 3 and divide this one by 3. Okay? So if I divide, this becomes a 3. Okay, 9 divided by 3 is 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. All right, so I've changed these numbers. The 3 is gone now, the 9 is gone. I just simplified it early. Okay, now I'm going to look at the other two numbers. Let's take a look at the other two diagonals, the 2 and the 4. Do they share a common factor that I can simplify? Well, the answer is yes. Their greatest common factor is going to be a 2. So I'm going to divide 2 by 2, and I'm going to divide 4 by 2. And when I do that, the 4 becomes a 2. See how I'm crossing out the original one so I don't get confused? I'm going to change it to a 2. Then I have 2 divided by 2, and I get a 1. Okay? So this becomes a 1 also. Now, I'm going to multiply this problem, but I'm going to multiply the new values that I have. I have a 1 and a 1. So 1 times 1 is equal to 1. And I'm going to multiply the 2 times the 3, and I get 6. So I have 1/6 is my answer. All right, boys and girls, this is a strategy called simplifying first. You're going to be looking at the diagonals. You're going to try to see if you can simplify a numerator and a denominator from each different fraction in each situation. Sometimes you can do both, sometimes you can't. So let me give you another quick example that you can learn from today. Just erase. All right. So let's say we have something as simple as 1/2. Give my colors back here. What if I have 1/2 and I'm going to multiply it by 4/5? Okay. I want to find the answer. Now I could just multiply across and I'm going to get 4/10, correct? 1 times 4 is 4. 2 times 5 is 10. That's not the point today. The point is, can I simplify before I even multiply? So let's start first of all with this first set. Let's look at the 1 and the 5. Is there a common factor besides 1? No. There is not. So I cannot simplify those. I need to leave them be. I'm going to leave the 1 and I'm going to leave the 5. I can't simplify early. Now let's take a look at the other side. Let's take a look at the 2 and the 4. Do they share a common factor? Yes, they share 2. So I'm going to divide by 2, and I'm going to divide this side by 2. It's always the same. You got to divide by the same value. Now, if I divide 2 by 2, I get a 1. And if I divide 4 by 2, I get 2. Okay, I'm going to multiply 1 times 2, and I get a 2. I'm going to multiply 1 times 5, and I get a 5. Okay, so 2/5 is the answer in simplest form. Sometimes, even when you simplify first, you still might have to simplify your answer a little bit more. So always look at your answer and check and make sure that they don't share a factor, because if they do, then you can simplify it again. All right, so take a look at your steps here today. Step 4 was in the situation here where we didn't have one that matched. Go ahead and read through this yourself, and you can be able to practice simplifying first before you multiply your fractions today. Thank you, boys and girls. Happy math. Oh boy.